Hey everyone, your host Nick here, and you're listening to the official podcast of 4PlayerNetwork.com. First, I want to remind you that we are a fully independent podcast, quite literally just a group of friends who have met once a week since 2008 to talk about video games. If you like our show, the best thing you can do for us is be active in our community. I recommend Discord. You can subscribe to our show, leave us a review on your preferred podcast service, or, if you're so inclined, bless us with your patronage on Patreon or Twitch. If you're new, all you need to know is this. We record these shows live every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central on Twitch, and the audio version launches on all podcast services on Friday morning. Patreon and Twitch supporters will even get the show a day early on Thursdays. But if you want to know more about any of this, about what we do, or find all the important links you need, simply visit us at 4playernetwork.com. And that's it. This is the only ad you'll ever hear on this show. So, with that said, thank you for listening. Let's get started. All right, let's do this. Let's get to it. Hey, everyone. Welcome to 4Player Podcast. It is... What day is this? November 19th, 2024. This is episode 816. I'm your host, Nick Henderson, joined tonight by Brad Simons.
Yeah.
And Christopher Davis.
I'm also here. Good evening.
If you tuned in just before the recording to hang out with us and watch video game trailers, as we do, usually for Trailer Talk Live, we were also joined by Nolan, who hasn't been around for a little while because they just had their baby. So that was very exciting. They hung out for a while. We talked about it, and he was sharing everything that's been going on with them with the baby. But on that note, just want to let you know, Nolan is now officially on, quote unquote, 4-player paternity leave. So you probably won't see or hear his voice on this podcast for a while. But we
treat our people well when they're on paternity leave. They still get full pay, even whether they're on the podcast or not.
Their pay doesn't change one iota.
We even offer emotional benefits.
What are the emotional benefits?
Just encouragement. Hey, how you doing?
Support. We offer a support system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But with that, he did say he would be popping in and out of Discord periodically and staying in touch and keeping everyone posted. So be sure to congratulate Nolan in our Discord, which of course you can find at discord.gg/4player. I'm sure he'd love to hear from you guys, especially if you have new parenting tips. I'm sure he'd love to hear those. But anyways, back to the world of video games, because that is in fact what we are here to once again discuss.
Allegedly.
Where do we start tonight? Because we got some games to talk about, of course.
What you been doing, Nick, outside of the world of video games? Lord knows you do plenty of that.
I can't tell. That almost feels accusatory in the way that you asked. Like know that I've been doing or something.
Literally everything comes out of my mouth you say is accusatory, Nick.
That is about a solid 70%.
That was an accusation right there.
That's true.
I have accused you of doing something besides playing video games, and now I will ask about it.
I mean, I have watched some television.
What's good?
What's good?
Yeah, what's good? I have not watched a movie or a television show in like weeks.
What was the last? I can't. Now I'm struggling to remember what was the last movie I went into the theater and saw. But we are going to see Gladiator 2 this week, and we're going to see Wicked on Thanksgiving.
Can I ask about that? All right, Gladiator 2, that's the topic. Why?
That's the topic.
Do you think it's going to be good, or you have a lot of affection for the first Gladiator? Ridley Scott's like kind of washed, right? I mean, what's up with that?
I mean, I like the first Gladiator, and this looks like a fun movie. I mean, I don't have
but that's also been 25 years since the first Gladiator.
I mean, sure. I mean, I went upstairs the other day because I was like, Robin's watching a movie. I'm wondering what she's watching. I go upstairs, and she's watching Gladiator, so, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's Pedro Pascal, and it's got like a 75 on Rotten Tomatoes. That's pretty decent.
I mean, look.
It's already got some reviews. I didn't know it already had reviews.
I don't know why you need to really scrutinize this. I mean, Gladiator is a good movie. They're making a sequel. It's not doing terrible, and it looks like a fun movie to go see. So that's why we're going to see it.
So Gladiator holds up? I haven't seen it in like...
Yeah, I think Gladiator holds up.
Yeah,
I mean,
it holds up.
Maybe...
What's up with Wicked? Wicked's getting...
Dude, Wicked's getting good reviews.
Yeah.
What is?
So,
I don't even look at Rotten Tomatoes anymore because it's so confusing.
I don't think people realize that this is just part one of Wicked. Like Wicked Part
Wait,
2
what is Heretic? Isn't this like a horror movie?
Heretic was
91%.
Heretic is the last movie I went and saw in theaters.
What is Heretic?
It's the one with Hugh Grant where he's the it's the two the missionaries come and knock on his door and then he lets them into his house and then he basically it's like Saw but religious. He like traps them in their house and then challenges their faith and they have to go through like a it was pretty good. It was a pretty good movie. And I would say probably one of the highlights. I mean, I don't know an extensive amount about Hugh Grant's acting career, but I would say this is probably a highlight. He was really good.
What's this Jesse Eisenberg movie? This thing got crazy reviews too.
I have no idea, but anyways,
track him. But
what does that mean?
Track
what
him?
A crazy thing to say. What Hollywood actors do you track?
I'm not really a fan of Jesse Eisenberg.
Like Hunt. Okay.
That's fine. Hey, look.
I guess that's okay, but I want to know who you're tracking.
Look. I've been playing a lot of Dragon Age. I've been trying to watch stuff that makes me happy because it's been kind of a dark time the past few weeks.
Sure.
With everything going on.
I mean, I think that's why I played a lot of it.
Juanless in chat asked me if there's new Dexter yet. No, the new Dexter starts on December 13th, but I am counting the fucking days.
Are you taking that day off?
Ooh, yes, I actually am taking that day off. Because Lord knows I'm not going to be able to focus while at work.
I feel like I want to know a little bit more about Chris Davis's hatred of Jesse Eisenberg. Where does that come from?
I just don't.
What did he do to you?
I don't like his acting. I don't think he's an entertaining actor.
It's because he was cast as Lex Luthor. And he was like, that was a bad choice.
Right? Well, that was a bad choice.
The Social Network. I mean, he obviously played a villain in The Social Network.
Hey, look, it's okay. It's okay to just not like someone.
No, but I mean, I'm saying like he was like he wanted it to be known to the world, and I'm like, oh, interesting. Not a Roger Dodger fan. I get it.
Accusation tonight.
What? You said it.
Hey, look.
I do recommend The Art of Self-Defense.
Hey, look. Since we're just going on random tangents here, and somebody did bring up Dexter, there's casting rumors for Dexter Resurrection. Do you see these names attached? Oh man, it's pretty exciting. Gillian Anderson and Peter Dinklage.
Okay, all right.
I'm here for it. We'll see. That is not official yet, but it is highly rumored. And
this is the prequel series, right?
No, that is for the sequel series. Is for Dexter Resurrection.
I was gonna watch Dexter, but I don't track Gillian Anderson, so I'm out.
That's sad.
Really? I can't tell if you're just making a joke about the whole not liking a random person, or if you actually don't like Gillian Anderson, which would be crazy.
I'd die for Scully, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know what she's up to. She was like a voice actor in some game, and she kind of phoned it in recently. What was that about? Or no, it's the Star Citizen shit. She's in Citizen. The Star Citizen game in.
Hey, dude, Gillian Anderson was in Hannibal and fucking incredible in that show. So I'm here for it. Anyways, what are we doing?
Movie.
Oh, I finally watched that new Beetlejuice movie. I thought it was kind of mid.
It was fun. But not much more than that.
What's up with Transformers 1? What is that? Is that like the Spider-Verse of Transformers? Why is that getting such crazy reviews?
It's supposed to be pretty good.
Brad is literally looking at his phone, running through a list of movies.
I'm on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah. Because I mean, I never look at this shit. It's so hard to keep up or keep track of this shit.
Well, what else you got?
I showed Henry the trailer for the Christopher Reeve story documentary, and I was like, see, this is what happens if you don't stop jumping on the couch. Maybe that's wrong, but
God,
I feel like he's got to know how easily this could happen. You know.
First of all, I don't think that. God, that's fucked up, Brad.
Scar that fucking child for life.
Okay. Okay, I have a fucking hard floor, and my kid falls over the back of the couch because they're roughhousing. My fucking 3-year-old. All of a sudden, Nick thinks it's going to be a-okay.
I was taken aback not by the whole scarring of the child thing. Fuck that. I was scarred by like just that's just so cold. Just
what do you mean? It's inspirational, dude. Christopher Reeve story. Dude, I got emotional watching that trailer.
No, I'm not saying you didn't. Whatever. Let's move on. Where are we going?
He has
Where are we going
from here? Context for what that means. What his whole story.
The trailer explains it all, Chris Davis. Okay, he's 7. He's not an idiot.
What are we doing, guys? What are we doing here?
No.
What are we doing here? Where are we going from here, Brad? I'm going to let you lead the show.
Sorry. Lead the show. We talk about video games. I don't know.
Hey, we can talk.
What are y'all talking about? Oh, here's a question. How much Dragon Age did you play? In normal people terms.
I'm around 36 hours or so. I don't know. So
35 hours. Because I mean 36. You don't say 36 unless it's exactly 36.
I maybe rounded up. I don't fucking know. Do you want to pull up my game? Whatever. I'm not gonna.
No, I don't.
You're killing me, Brad.
I don't want you to.
I played a bunch of Dragon Age.
So how are you feeling about it? Are you kind of doing everything or?
No. I was trying to gauge. Well, here's the thing, because like I'm doing the things that interest me. I'm doing the things for the characters that matter the most to me. And
whoa! Are you saying you're not going to do like companion stuff?
Is this it? Are we talking about Dragon Age?
This is it. Yes,
we're doing it.
Okay.
We're going.
This is how an organic podcast happens. But I don't understand. So there's companions in your squad that you won't do their companion stuff for?
No.
Look, I mean, you do realize you're playing like a Mass Effect 2 situation.
Okay, look. Right? What I am doing is there's a lot of side stuff. The better way to describe it is I'm focusing mostly on the stuff that involves my companions, and if it's outside of that realm, unless it really.
So you're not really like fully exploring these environments or anything?
No, I am. Like I mean,
because if you do that, you're gonna do most things, or you're not going back to areas to like pick up new quests and stuff.
I am tempted to go back to areas when like the story involving one of my companions takes me back to those areas, or if I'm trying to like level up one of the shops in a particular.
Yeah, I mean, leveling up the shops, you definitely have to do that stuff. That's the thing. I got so in on like that loop that I kind of ended up doing everything because I wanted my gear to upgrade. I wanted the shops to upgrade, and I just kind of you start clearing out the areas. Once you really start to get into like the rhythm of kind of how you chip away at those environments, it gets a little addictive. At least it did for me. Because you see like the chest icons or whatever, so you're like, I might as well get this chest. And if I'm gonna be out there, I might as well pick up this quest. And it's not. I heard some people say that like the side quest stuff outside of companions is just as throwaway as Inquisition, and that's super not true. It's not like Witcher 3 by any means, but it's definitely like there's some characters and there's some story there. Like with the Inquisition,
the acting's
like,
pretty consistent.
You pick up an item out in the world and then you meet them like in town and they'd be like, "Oh, thanks for completing that quest for me." And I'm like, "What?" I remember picking that up. You just find a note in it, and that would be your quest or whatever. This is more, like KOTOR or something.
Yeah, and I'm really digging it. And I really enjoy all the characters, like all the companions.
You're a mage? You're a mage?
I'm a mage, yes. I'm a mage.
You're just like Harry Potter pilled kind of with this shit.
No, right? I mean, you want to know? I mean, I picked a mage because I almost always pick like sword wielding characters, and I wanted to try and like mix it up.
This was the game to be the sword. Well, they're all fucking sword users now, right? So I guess that doesn't really matter. But
I mean, it's
funny because I'm the opposite. I'm like, well, this one's less tactical or like not tactical at all. So I don't need to play a mage. I'm just going to beat something with a big axe or whatever. And it's been pretty fun.
I mean, I'm enjoying playing as a mage. And I'm going to be honest, even though you can technically, like I specialize in like the blade. I forgot what it's called. Like there's one that lets you like earn attacks that use a blade. But most of what I'm doing here are spells and like. So
who are your companions? Shooting. Neb, obviously.
Neb is
you're Miranda coded.
I am
so
Neb.
You're just going to pick the most normal looking lady. I get it.
Well, look. Yes, I am all in on Neb.
He never fucked an alien in Mass Effect. It's so fucking Ashley coded. Actually, if you think about it, you know what I'm saying.
Look, bitch. I am in love with Nev, but
I was surprised by it. Yeah,
Tosh has made a hell of a argument in her favor, in their favor. No, like I literally entered a conversation not thinking it was going to be very like romantic. I thought it was just going to be like a general conversation, and they pinned me against a wall, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is this is crazy.
I use everyone, and I don't usually do that in the games. I usually just stick to my ladies, but like I think the dudes are really good. But specifically, I think like you would be crazy. Like if you're going to do some questing in like the necropolis or whatever, not taking Emmerich would be insane because if you take a character who's like from that area, they talk more. Like they talk about the area and the quests, and you should definitely be bringing them along. And like the character, all the characters are good.
I do that.
Some of the synergies though, like you can't. Some characters work better with others than
So one thing I found out, and I wasn't aware of this, and I don't know if this is something that I can't remember if this is something they've done in the past, but I was talking to somebody on Blue Sky about Veilguard, and they told me that two of their companions in their party, who they were not romancing, ended up hooking up, and it was because they rejected their advances. So they ended up started liking each other, and then now they're
Winged.
Hanging it.
Hold on, Winged. Please don't spoil anything in chat. And I did romance Meryl, but please don't talk about Meryl. Don't spoil anything in chat. Because I've not seen anything yet. If that character is in this game.
So that seems really cool. And yes, when I go do anything involving a companion, I almost always by default.
You get the feather shit on your Tosh though, man. That's like her worst outfit, dog. This feather shit is her worst outfit.
Their worst outfit? Why are you judging me, man? Why? First of all, I think we have different tastes in outfits. I don't think that outfit's.
You're into the feathers?
Yeah, why not?
Or the dragon scales, whatever. It looks like some feathery bullshit. I mean, I don't know. The other outfits are pretty good. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I got at least a couple of them are better than this one.
Also, look, I don't really fuck around with the appearances stuff. I find it all very confusing. So I just
you don't even fuck with the fashion gear. You're probably barely in that fucking menu. You're just whacking things, and you're playing on like God of War. Although the funny thing is, God of War, you're in the menus a lot, really, in those modern ones.
I am in the menus plenty, Brad. In fact, one of the things that really annoys me about this game is how often I find myself going in and out of the menu, and then because I keep accidentally closing it when I don't mean to.
How many?
It drives me crazy.
How much have you? I misgendered Tosh. I don't actually know. I feel like that conversation.
You did, but you haven't.
I've not maybe progressed that conversation enough.
This conversation that I'm having in this footage that we're watching right now is that conversation. So
okay, so I just haven't progressed to that point. So
but they do drop lots of hints before that, so it was pretty apparent.
There's not hinting is not a thing.
Look.
So wait, is this like a romance thing?
I mean, this conversation had the potential to advance romance.
I played over 50 hours of this game, but like. It sounds like the way Nick's playing it that he might actually be further in me in some parts of it at least. But like I have no open side quests on my how there's like fucking areas have like all kinds of shit popping off. Go back here, new quests and all kinds of regional quests and shit. Right now, all of that's cleared on mine where I'm at in the story.
I mean, I
definitely spend a lot of time.
I think I am because when a new game release is approaching, I like to I kind of try to gauge where I am in relation to get the big picture of where I am in the game that I'm currently playing. So I was trying to figure out am I close or am I nowhere near it? So it doesn't even matter. I should just still keep taking my time. And I think because I'm at the point now where they're all the different companions have a side quest or a quest and it feels to me kind of like what you do at the end of Mass Effect 2, where it's before you can progress to the final battle, you have to go kind of do some stuff for each of your companions to figure out where they land.
Pretty far. This is a game
And
where
I
I'm
think
probably
that's where
have
I'm at.
twice the playtime as you. And
Yeah,
that's fine.
absolutely. I think at the rate I'm going, this is probably going to end up being like a 45-hour game for me.
But I mean, how powerful are you? I'm so powerful.
I'm level 33. If that tells you anything.
No, it doesn't. I'm saying I'm like fucking one-shotting bosses and stuff. It's crazy. I've got some shield throwing build that's absolutely disgusting.
I'm definitely not one-shotting bosses.
Fucking disgusting.
Have you done
something? And I know it's a touchy subject, but like some of the stuff with Tosh, and again, I've not gotten to the point where you are, where you know, obviously gender identity or whatever is like part of this character's development, but like the way they've started to introduce it, it seems a little like heavy-handed, almost a little corny, and I'm worried if BioWare is not gonna like have enough nuance to handle a topic like this.
I mean, here's what I would say about it, because the conversation that I just had in this footage actually was pretty heavy-handed. It's where they finally just kind of like come right out and say it, and which is fine. It does feel.
I mean, obviously, that stuff being in games is great, but like, if it's done in kind of a, I don't know.
I mean, here's what I'll say. I know there's probably going to be a lot of people coming out of the woodwork to sit here and say that they did that just to like create controversy or whatever, or some dumb shit. And I feel like maybe it could have been handled in such a way that it didn't feel like they were very clearly trying to make a statement. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it should feel more organic. It should feel more natural. And like up until this point, it kind of did. Like they were, because all the conversations I was having, they were just kind of like talking about how they felt, and they weren't sure how to describe it, whatever. And I was like, okay, I get the point. I get what they're saying. It was, and then they finally have the conversation, and they're like, this is me, and which is fine, but it was very much like, I don't know if it was entirely necessary to get your point across. Like, I definitely got it. But I don't know.
No,
I mean, it's fine.
It's the lack of nuance from what I've sensed so far, and I'm like,
it may lack some nuance, but like the performances are really, really good, and
okay, that's fair.
I think that kind of
good performance can carry, even if writing is a little clunky.
Yeah.
Hey, someone in the chat said I definitely shouldn't be one-shotting anything. First of all, my hit point settings for enemies are set to normal. And you have not seen my build. Look up a fucking Reaper. I'm hitting 9999s multiple.
Yeah, dude. I got into. Are you tracking down the champions to fight?
Oh yeah, dude. I'm killing them like 10, 15 levels below. I mean, I'm like 10, 15 levels below them. I mean, I'm killing dragons and stuff. Like, I'm not one-shotting everything. Okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but like this Reaper shield throwing build, it's insane the amount of damage I'm dishing out. I don't even understand.
I fought a champion the other day, and it took me about 15 minutes of just continuous fighting. So that's kind of where I'm at.
That's my stuff's closed down.
But like that 15 minutes was pretty fun and kind of intense, and it was actually coming down to
it's like, I don't know how to like dodging and shit. Yeah. You know the warrior has a specialization that just lets you parry even the red unblockable stuff. I'm like, I haven't switched to that, but I'm like, that seems like that would completely break everything in this game if I could just parry everything. So I haven't messed with it yet. But
my biggest, I think the thing that I've come to learn since the last time I played it is, I think my biggest gripe with this game is, at least in regards to the combat, because it drives me fucking crazy. It is so hard to not constantly switch the enemy you're targeting, like, because I'm constantly trying to dodge and get out of the way of attacks, and I end up almost every time I dodge, it switches to another target when I didn't mean to. Like, I'm trying to focus my attacks on one person, and I have to dodge an attack.
There's a lot of settings in the menu.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of drives me crazy. But
okay, first of all, Wing It, I did not make an arcane warrior and inquisition when everyone else was. I made a mage that was like centered around like force abilities and shit. I don't usually make the most OP shit. I stumbled into the shield throwing specialization naturally. I mean, like the skill trees are pretty like intuitive. It's easy to sniff out the synergies and stuff pretty quick. And I'm not watching build videos to make this shit. I just got really fucking powerful really quick. It's crazy. Anyways.
But and to Slade's question about game breaking bugs, I said this last week. I think this is a pretty remarkably polished game, especially, which is kind of amazing, especially when you think about like Andromeda and stuff, and and I don't feel like they've, up until now, I don't feel like they've ever really been known as a studio that makes like super polished games right out of the gate. Like they've almost always been.
I mean, this is not even a conversation that like we used to have. It just became so commonplace. Like like when KOTOR came out, people weren't saying things. Oh my god, it's so unpolished. People just didn't really say those things.
It didn't matter.
That's more
as
of
much
like that's more of like a modern conversation. I don't know. I mean, like Bethesda, I feel like was always known for like buggy shit, but like BioWare, like Baldur's Gate, like when they were putting out like Baldur's Gate 2 and KOTOR and like Jade Empire, those were like big budget polished. I mean, polished. They were. BioWare was known for putting out a good product. I'll say that. It really wasn't until, I mean, we all know that Dragon Age 2 was rushed, right? Because they got bought by EA, and this was the new world we lived in, right?
And Andromeda was a mess.
Then it wasn't until Andromeda where people were like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah, but then they did Anthem, which was a failure, and I think people just in general have like lost faith. And I don't really remember how Inquisition was in terms of like level of polish or anything, but that had its own share of like problems.
But that was the first time that they were doing these big open areas. But I mean, it's not like that was like affecting reviews. I mean, Inquisition scored incredibly well.
I guess what I'm trying to get at here is that this, maybe I shouldn't be talking about polish. I should just be talking about the amount of jank, because a lot of games are really great. A lot of great games have a healthy amount of jank. Like this game feels like it doesn't really have a ton of jank, and it almost feels like maybe some of the design was like certain design choices may have even been made for the sake of making sure the game runs better.
Everything's so like homogenized. I feel like they definitely like sanded this thing down to like get to that point. But like I feel like, I make this analogy a lot. I feel like when you polish and sand stuff down, you sand off all the rough edges, it loses some of that memorable texture, that personality, right? And that's, but it makes it makes this a very playable game, it's easy to turn this thing on and just make some goddamn progress. I moved my PS5 from one room to the other. It's been in the office for a long time, and I was like, I'm tired of playing it here, so I moved up to the living room. And for whatever reason, when I turned my PS5 back on, when I tried to boot up Dragon Age, it just said, no, we can't play this game. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Apparently just the install got corrupted, so I just had to uninstall it and reinstall it, and it's fine now.
That's weird.
But it was giving me an error message, which I'd never seen before. So I was playing some Dragon's Dogma while that was downloading and everything, and I was like, "Oh, this is an RPG with texture." My God. I still have not finished Dragon's Dogma. I mean, I played like 35 hours of it, and I've been kind of waiting for like updates and stuff, and now it runs like really well and stuff. And I'm at the point now, it's like, man, should I just wait for like DLC? Because with that last game, it was so significant. Everyone calls it like, when Dragon's Dogma finally became a great game is when that DLC came out, or that expansion or whatever. And I'm like, they're probably going to do something like that again, right? They haven't said otherwise. Maybe I should just wait even longer on Dragon's Dogma. I don't know. But
I don't know. I mean, I think Dragon's Dogma 2 is. I mean, you're right. It'll probably, if it gets DLC, it'll probably be pretty significant. But like, it still runs great and plays really well.
Let me tell you that I booted up and I was playing as a magic archer, and I'm like, I kind of want to hit some things after playing so much Dragon Age. Like, I'm gonna switch to a fucking warrior again, because I want to hit some things. Magic archer, you don't get a lot of satisfying feedback.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad you chose the West on this one, Nick. Who needs those stinky Japanese games, right? Am I right, Nick?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Your games are bad, as Phil Fish once said. to a
Hey, look,
Japanese game.
as soon as I finish this, I'm going to play Stalker 2. And as soon as I finish that, I am.
You probably have such a long list of games you want to like get back to, right?
Dude,
there's be so easily for you to let Metaphor slip.
Yeah,
How far did
absolutely.
you get Metaphor?
I'm sitting at about 20 hours, I think, somewhere in there. 25, 22. Look. No, it's not a great number, but look, I'm looking at Metaphor and looking at Dragon Age. I knew right away Dragon Age would be like half. I would be spending about half the amount of time as Metaphor. So I was like, I'll knock that out. I'll just go ahead and play that first, be done with it, and then move on and focus my attention on Metaphor. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm fully intending to get back to Metaphor. I don't know if I'll be able to finish it before the end of December, but let's just say I do have a lot of time off between now and the end of the year, so we'll see what happens. But Stalker 2 comes out tomorrow, and let me tell you, I've also been hearing great things about the latest updates on Star Wars Outlaws, which I want to get back to. Like, makes the game.
I forgot about that game came out.
Apparently it makes the game way better, and I was already enjoying it, but like I'm really gonna make sure I find time to play some of that before the end of the year. So those are my three big ones between now and the end of December. Stalker 2, Metaphor,
you got a little list of indies and stuff.
I have a long list of indies and smaller games.
You gonna play Lorelei and the Laser Eyes?
Oh, I installed Lorelei and the Laser Eyes on my Steam Deck, and I was gonna play it at lunch today, and that I didn't actually.
You need to play that shit with Robin. Y'all need to get a pad and paper and play that shit together, man. It would have been a good one to play in October.
I don't know.
Fucked up, dude.
Hey, you're right. I probably.
It's like it's like fucking survival horror meets The Witness. I mean, it seems like some shit you'd be into, man. I don't know.
I'm sure it will be. I mean, I don't know about the best way to play it as a couple because I got it on PC. I just don't know how that's going to work.
You don't got two pairs in there?
I don't have exterior speakers. I only have these headphones that I'm using right now. So like,
that's weird. Buy some fucking speakers, dude.
I don't like having speakers.
You're a modern boy. Get some fucking You don't like speakers?
I don't like speakers, man.
What? What is that? What are you saying?
I don't know what
you always have to put headphones on? You just don't want to put headphones on?
Every single game. Look, dude, when I play PS5, I wear headphones. I have a sound bar for my TV that almost never gets turned on.
But what if you just want to watch some random YouTube video and you're sitting at your computer?
I have headphones on.
Yeah, but what if you want to show something to Robin? Like you give her.
I hand her the headphones.
Oh, that's crazy, dude. Buy some speakers. Quality of life. What the fuck are you doing? They just plug right in. You have a desktop.
I know. I don't know, man. I just hate the speakers. Hey, look, can we not focus on my speaker situation? Can I just say
you're saying I hate speakers, and that's the crazy thing to say.
Look. One last thing I want to say about Dragon Age for those who it might be relevant to. This game is apparently Steam Deck verified. I installed this on Steam Deck. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
It runs that Moonlight life. What are you still installing?
No.
Like this for?
I'm using it. I'm using Moonlight to play this. But I installed it on the off chance I want to like play it when I'm literally not at home, where I can't use Moonlight. So
that's when you play UFO 50, scrub.
So I was like, I'm gonna install it on my Steam Deck, see if maybe I can be playing this at work on my lunch break and stuff. Dude, it runs at like 10 frames a second and it looks like pixelated garbage. I don't know how
you gotta tweak the settings. I mean, just because it's verified don't mean you can run it on high still. You know, you gotta fuck with it.
I mean, yeah, you're probably right. But
you gotta turn your frame rate down.
Every game.
The good thing about the Steam Deck being like pretty popular is that it's not hard to find like a good Steam Deck.
I get it.
Like set of settings for
it was
popular.
It was running so poorly that even just navigating menus was like,
yeah, and it would suck up the battery too. It's just not a Steam Deck kind of.
So I uninstalled it. And I started playing, or I installed Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. I just haven't started it yet. But yes,
that's one I would say is probably like better not to play on a Steam Deck. Like sit, buy some speakers.
Fuck you and your stupid speakers thing. God
damn it. I'm the minority here. Who has speakers in 2024?
Who does have speakers? It's 2024.
What is your setup there? Can you pan your camera over? You have a comfortable place to sit for 2 people in your office here?
I only have one desk chair. I have a look.
You have a couch
Brad,
over there? What's going on?
Yes, I have a couch over here. It's sitting in front of my television. Look.
Oh, you have a TV in there?
Yes.
Yeah.
You've
So hook your computer up to your TV. What are you doing?
I don't wanna. God damn it! I don't wanna. What do you want?
I'm calling it a skill issue. Let's move on.
I built this PC. I got this nice monitor. I got this really nice desk, this comfy chair. So when I'm playing PC games, I'm sitting.
I didn't know you had a computer right next to it, though. You got another out on your graphics card, probably. Just plug that shit in. I mean, I don't say.
I will look into it. I don't look. Just leave me alone. Let's move on.
I thought you didn't have a TV in there.
You would know if you'd actually ever come to my home.
Well, if you do invite me, I'll bring some fucking cables, dude. Because you need some help. I was invited one time during COVID, and I had fucking a baby. Sorry, I didn't come to your house, Nick.
I think there was one. I think when I sold you my TV, which is the TV that I now have replaced because it used to be right here.
Yeah, I have it in the office. It's like literally here.
I thought you were going to come pick it up, but then I ended up having to take it to you. You bitch.
It's not like,
whatever. This is riveting stuff, I'm sure, for people listening at home. Anyways, Dragon Age not Inquisition, Dragon Age Veilguard. Pretty good game.
In stores now.
Pretty in stores now. Pretty good game. Pretty good video game. All right. Let's switch it up a bit. I do want to hear from Chris Davis because you've been playing that new. Shut up, Brad. Life is Strange.
I thought I was hosting this shit.
Life is Strange.
Oh, he's gonna talk about Life is Strange.
Double Exposure, which I've heard really mixed things about.
Did he finish it? I only want to hear about it if he finished it, and I mean that because everyone said like the first 3 episodes are fucking sick as hell, and then it's like it goes full Kingdom Hearts or some shit. Like they fucking shit in the place that they sleep, and people are not happy.
I have played through the first 3 episodes. I'm working on episode 4.
Okay, so you literally don't know anything now. You don't know.
Wait a
anything?
second.
I know quite a bit.
Wait a second, Chris Davis. Didn't you say yesterday you were going to finish this game yesterday?
That was the plan, and then things got in the way.
Okay, well, you're just going to have to talk about this again later when you actually finish. But go ahead.
Okay. I mean,
because literally, the reviews. If you look at the reviews for this game, it is all saying, and which didn't score well. It's all because of where this goes in the last 2 episodes. It went from a game that's like, oh, this is good to, oh my God, what did they do? So I'm so curious to hear from you.
Okay. Well, go
ahead.
Okay. Then next week, or if I ever speak on it again, you have
to. That's what I'm saying. You have to speak on it again.
Okay, I will. But
so first 3 episodes though, where you at?
First 3 episodes.
Okay, so let me frame this for you. The reason why it took me so long to play this was seeing those review scores and hearing just some of the community negativity about it. That's why I was like, I don't need kind of a mediocre experience right now, especially for a direct sequel to one of my games of the year for a previous year. I'll just take it slow. And so it took me nearly a week to play the first episode. And then 3 days ago, I started the second episode. And then when that started and when the plot started going on there, I was on all cylinders going. And how they end episode 2 and start up episode 3, I was fucking enthralled. As soon as I finished that was when I was messaging you saying, hey, I'm going to finish this as soon as possible. Yeah.
This sounds like Chris Davis is being set up for disaster.
I'm really hoping not.
He's lore boy, 101. He might love it. I don't know. I actually don't know anything about it. I kind of want to hit up a wiki article because I don't think I'm going to play it.
Okay.
So I want to know.
The setup for this game is that it's 5-ish years after the events of the first game. Max is now an a faculty member at a prestigious fine arts college in Vermont. Yeah, she's off screen. It's handled whether you chose to save Arcadia Bay or save Chloe. So you make that determination. And
I don't even want to ask you.
It's
You
very
chose to save Zoe. That's your canon choice. Save Zoe.
but also saved Chloe.
Save Zoe. So it saving Zoe and saving Chloe. Was there a?
There's no
theme
connection
here?
there. This is Brad making shit up.
This is just a coincidence. Wait. So what? Is there like a canon choice, or does it? Do you make that choice again at
There's
the
no
beginning of
canon.
this game?
They made it to where there's no canon choice. They both can be canon because you're flipping between realities in this game. But I will say,
no.
the original
you're
Life
wrong.
is Strange is a Donnie Darko ripoff, and I feel like the poetic ending at the end of the first game season, or Life is Strange, is the Donnie Darko ending. But then there's an ending of like, oh, but there a fucking storm that I caused or something destroyed Arcadia Bay, but Chloe's still alive. And I don't know. Some people chose that, but I chose, how about I never play any more Life is Strange? And this is the Donnie Darko ripoff ending is my real ending, but I don't know.
I feel like I don't know. I don't remember enough about the Donnie Darko ending.
And I've never seen Donnie Darko, so.
Oh well, have you played Life is Strange? Because it was just ripped off Donnie Darko.
Okay, well then I don't need to see it. All right, so I chose Chloe, and they set up a backstory where basically they broke up recently, and she moved to this remote college in Vermont to be a photography instructor. She's built up a new life, and one night her best friend in the world gets murdered, and that's the mystery of the game. It's you trying to figure it out. Now the whole thing with Max in this game is that she technically no longer has her powers. She chose to just like no longer rewind after Arcadia Bay, so she
turned it all off.
Yeah, she turned it all off. But the trauma of her friend being murdered, like she found her body. Like it's this moment. And it opens up new powers for her. And she can now travel between two different timelines. The current one that she lives in, which she calls Dead World, and then the living world where her friend Safi is still alive.
Is
I
it
called
Safi?
two different realities, but I was scolded, so I'm sorry.
Well,
isn't that what you just described?
Well, I wasn't fucking finished, Brad. Jesus Christ. You gotta
Brad.
stop jumping on things.
I'm fine, but you scolded me like I was wrong. You said I was wrong. You scolded me.
I mean, you were wrong because we were talking about like the choice between Chloe and Arcadia Bay, which Chloe is the canonical choice. Anyway, so the first episode is really slow. Max doesn't get her powers until like the very end.
So yeah, this is the Dexter New Blood episode 1 of Life is Strange.
Yeah, it feels like a reintroduction to Max. Like if you never played the first game, this is your like, oh, this is her. Yeah, this is how you learn about it.
It's the thing where you know that the hero has something very unique about them, but they're choosing not, or they're choosing not to use it, and you're waiting for that moment, and you know they're going to use it or something is going to happen, and then it ends when it finally.
And
happens.
then they start experimenting with her powers, trying out new things with her, getting used to new ideas, and then they end episode 2 on a excellent cliffhanger that just immediately fucking sold me for the rest of the game, no matter what happens.
No matter what happens, we're quoting you right now.
He says that now. This man was angry at
I'm just saying it was a
Silent
fucking
Hill.
moment. I wasn't angry at Silent Hill. I have issues with Silent Hill, but that I wasn't angry.
No, but I'm saying like the way it ended for you really kind of tainted the experience. So I'm just saying we'll see with this one. You never know.
No, I mean,
those are two very different situations because I think it was more of just a tonal thing for the ending with Silent Hill 2 for Chris Davis because the ending didn't change. It wasn't like handled poorly. It was
It was
not
tonal.
what he
it
was
was
really
a
into.
mechanical thing. It was very.
I'm saying I don't know where this is going
to
to
take
go.
my overall experience of Silent Hill 2. So
It did or didn't? I'm sorry.
Did
It did
not.
not, is what he said.
It did
largely
not.
did not. So anyway, with Life is Strange Double Exposure, the completely different game from a completely different developer and publisher, and a completely different genre for that matter.
Wait, are we having different from Silent Hill 2 or different from that original Life is
different
Strange?
from
I'm
Silent Hill 2.
confused.
Like
Okay,
this is,
gotcha.
I mean, this is matching up to the classic formula that Telltale established and Life is Strange continued with Deck 9 and Don't Nod.
This is Don't Nod though, right? This is not.
No, this is Deck
No,
9.
this is Deck 9.
Oh, this is
Don't
Deck
Nod
9.
does
This is
not do
this
Life
is the True
Strange
Color
anymore.
studio.
Yes, this is the True Colors devs.
This is the Before the Storm devs, but
Shut
Well,
up,
yes.
Brad.
Fucking, if you played True
True
Colors,
Colors.
I think you would have a good time.
I played True
True Colors
Colors. I
did?
played the True Colors DLC as well. Chris Davis, who are you talking to, motherfucker?
I don't know anymore, Brad. You're a fucking enigma at times. But I'm really fucking enjoying this so far. It is so nice to return to this character. And okay, here's the thing I have about games like this that are direct sequels. If you're gonna do a sequel like this, in my opinion, you want to do it where it is 100% logical as to what happens next. Like, I don't want a story where it's like 5-10 years down the road and everything is disconnected. And it's basically just, oh, you took this character and you put them in a completely different mystery that has nothing to do with anything that's ever happened.
How often
They
does
don't
that
do
happen,
that
though?
here. You feel the weight of Arcadia Bay weighing on Max's fucking soul. Like
The ripple effect is still there.
yeah. And it just it builds, man. It fucking builds in really good ways. How do I do this for a story-based game and not fucking spoil it? That's the hard thing.
So real quick. So I don't want you to spoil anything because I am interested in playing this. But what I do
Yeah.
want to know is like the new mechanic, like as you mentioned, the switching between realities. How does that work? I see you doing it a little bit in this footage, but I'm not really entirely sure how it works.
So there's two primary gameplay mechanics there. It's that so you have a set map, and on that map are certain tears in the timeline that you can go over. You press a button and you switch between the timelines. And when you go, it's the same map, technically speaking, but it's completely decorated different. All the characters differently placed, things like that. So you get new opportunities to experience.
But you can only do it in specific places.
Yeah, they're like set areas, like usually 2 to a map or 3 to a map, something like that. It's really confined areas, basically.
Yeah.
This is not an open world game at all. But to tie into that, the other mechanic Max has this kind of like sonar-like ability where within a certain range you press another button and she sends out a pulse, and you can see and more importantly hear everything that's happening in the other timeline at the same time.
Oh, that's cool.
So there are a number of puzzles in the game, including in this footage here, in which I'm in one reality or timeline, and I'm working with a character in another timeline to solve a puzzle. So
that's pretty cool.
I'll do a step. I'll do the sonar pulse, listen in more, go back, do the next step, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
like Singularity.
Ooh, yeah. Like
Well,
Singularity.
Not like Singularity at all. No.
No, he's just
I remember
goading me.
Singularity. You get like there would be a door with a crushed box, and you like, back in time, that box was uncrushed, and now I can go under the door.
Yeah, that was.
And they use that a little too much. I know, Brad. But you know what? The story in that game was really good. Fuck off.
That was a really good game, and we deserve Singularity too.
Never gonna happen. But yes, I agree.
You got to hold out some hope in this world, Nick. Otherwise, it'll just drive you fucking insane.
I have lost all hope.
Anyway,
Right.
This game is quite good from a story perspective for me. They don't do that much with the game beyond just those binary mechanics. They tease like more special abilities for Max and what she can do, what her capacity for doing things is. But those tend to be like very storied one-off moments,
little
are
set piece moments.
Yeah, set piece moments that are typically take place in a cutscene,
which is fine. Because like Life is Strange, it's not. It's usually pretty mechanically
Linear
shallow.
scripted.
It's linear.
Yeah.
It's all about the story and the presentation and the writing and the acting and stuff. And
I will say that the thing that's kind of surprised me about this is how much the game kind of wants you to investigate more and be more observant of the environment.
mm-hmm.
You know how there's like those, you got primary decisions and then like secondary, like tiny decisions that you do. And at the end of every chapter, it tells you, oh, you could have done this, X, Y, Z, and who did what and what percentage.
Yeah.
It feels like there's a lot more of that this time around. I keep missing out on a bunch of tiny little things that if I would have paid a little bit more attention to what was being said in the environment and different objects in the environment, running around a little bit more to see what's there, I would have seen and experienced quite a bit more. And it's
cool. So there's some depth to the environments. That's pretty.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
You gotta keep your eyes out. The game doesn't tell you a lot about those things. You gotta go hunting for them, which is kind of cool.
I'm really glad you're enjoying this. I am really hoping that you still enjoy it when it's all said and done, because I feel like I'm feeling
I am ready for that roller coaster.
I'm gonna be honest. I am probably going to make my decision as to whether I play this based on how you end up reacting to the last few chapters.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to that's not to put pressure on you. I'm just like, you're a big fan of Life is Strange, so if you come out satisfied, I'll play it. If not, I'll just maybe pass on this one. But I mean,
but see, the fact that he's so pleased now sets it up for like potentially next episode to be really funny. Like, and it would be tragic, right? But like, it could be that he's like furious. You know what I mean? Like, how could you? You know? Because I mean, think about like the ending to like Rebirth. A lot of people were pissed, and maybe they had a right to be pissed because what the fuck was that bullshit? You know?
I mean, my understanding of a lot of like the vitriol over double exposure mainly stems from how nonchalant they are about dealing with the Max and Chloe situation. Like, I will say that it is a big misstep for the game for them. Chloe hasn't shown up at all in my playthrough, and it's a single decision moment that pops up that really just is. It's treated so small that it feels like a disservice to Life is Strange 1 and Before the Storm.
And it can dictate whether or not Chloe even becomes like a major character in the game.
I mean, she hasn't shown up for me, and I'm on episode 4 right now. So if she shows up, I think that would be a great surprise for me.
But her time is going to be limited.
What if her nobody shows up? What if Chloe's nobody?
Shut up, Brad.
Would you be cool with that?
Shut up with this Kingdom Hearts bullshit.
I haven't played Kingdom Hearts in 20 years, and I'm so glad I haven't played Kingdom Hearts in 20 years. So I don't understand what you just said. But, I mean, if she shows up, I will be very happy to see her. And there is this kind of, in my mind, there is this meta narrative aspect happening with this game where I think they're really starting to play with the fact that people have powers, and people are starting maybe to realize that other people have powers, and there might be a thing that is going on there. So,
and that might be, I have a feeling that might be the very the thread that is leading to probably what certain people just don't like about the game. That's just a guess. I don't know. We could be wrong.
There was a rumor last year, I think it was, before Double Exposure was announced, that there were 2 Life is Strange games in development. One was about Max, which turned out to be true. And then there was another one that was supposed to be like bringing characters together from the various games. So
interesting.
That would be fucking cool. I
really hope it isn't a Rebirth situation, because for me, Rebirth was such a thing where like the writing and like the character moments and like performances and like those interactions were so good. You cared so much about those characters. And in Life is Strange has become a little bit like that with like Max and Chloe and some of those characters, that it's kind of like you wish they would just do the thing that the original game did and let you have a powerful emotional moment, because you care about those characters so much more now. But instead they wanted to get dumb and weird and Nomura-esque, and you end up not caring. And I feel like
Here's what I'll say, Brad, is where I'm at in the story. A lot of the first 3 episodes, like mysteries, have kind of revealed themselves at this point. And I'm not necessarily feeling that Nomura fear with this game.
Oh, but it's coming.
Oh, it's coming. Look, I'll say this though, but you're also talking to someone. My favorite Life is Strange game is Before the Storm, because it had like almost no supernatural shit.
Yeah.
You know, Chloe didn't even really have power. She just argued with people, you know,
Yeah.
like it was just a nice human story. And I like that aspect of Life is Strange. So that's why I don't want, whatever. I'm not going to play this. I might watch it, like watch a long play, no commentary, whatever of this maybe. But I definitely am not going to play. I mean, I never played these games when I got them anyways. I would make Malia steer in most of these games with most games.
Brad
like,
is well documented as someone who frequently uses the word dumb to describe lots of stories that I love. So,
okay, first of all, where are
true.
you? You're not even in this conversation. What are you talking about?
Fuck off.
I'm talking about the supernatural elements of Life is Strange has never been the hook for me. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, that's fair. What we'll I guess we'll find out next week, because I would imagine you'll finish the last 2 episodes before.
Yeah, I'm going to finish this game before I play Stalker 2, and I need to play Stalker 2 immediately. So.
All right. Well, I cannot wait to hear how this
Where are the
ends.
reviews for that?
Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I think is when they're
But what's been the buzz?
There is no buzz.
Nobody's played it yet.
I mean, I'm sure someone's played it.
No, it is. You can't preload it on Steam. You can't preload.
What of the previews? The previews
have been very
hands-on
positive.
Previews have been good.
Yeah, previews have been positive. Yeah,
they've been positive, and they've said it's a pretty demanding. Like it's
Stalker games
survivally and challenging, and yeah, they can. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyways, I'm sure we'll be talking about Stalker 2 next week. But yeah, let's take a quick break. When we come back, Brad, you've got I Am Your Beast and maybe UFO 50 minute. Did you have a UFO 50 minute this week? I wasn't entirely sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll talk about those games when we come back, and then I maybe want to have a little conversation about the Game Awards Game of the Year nominations, because everybody's been like losing their mind over that.
4-player minute, buddy.
We'll see what happens. It'll unfold organically. But if you're watching at home or listening at home, don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this quick break.
Okay, I'll tell the story. Are we back? I'll tell the story of Skodge, because Nick has the memory of a goldfish.
I do.
It was a community night, but by the way, Sonji always shows up for community nights, and this motherfucker is always playing these games with Nolan when we just bail on him, because you know how it is. And Nolan couldn't remember Sanji's name, and he called him Skodge, and I'm like, this motherfucker played how many hours of community nights with Sanji, and he could just call them Skodge? That was kind of low.
Gotcha. Okay, I get it now. Okay, yeah, I forgot about that. I stand corrected. Anyways, welcome back to the show. Brad, your time has come.
Oh, finally, yeah. I'm a fucking I'm a segment B bitch. Right?
You're a segment B bitch.
These fucking lame games that
talk about your new game. I Am Your Beast.
It's not a new game, dude. That's the sad thing. It did come out
Your
this
new
year,
game.
but it's a segment C game, right? You know, it's a game where it's like, well, I'm not going to bring it up now because we got big games to talk about, and I'm just going to get bumped, right? Like on a
You've
fucking late night.
you've like put it on the dock like 3 weeks in a row and
Yeah,
just it's been scrapped over and
yeah,
over again.
because some of us make sacrifices for the sake of showtime. You know, I don't try to get everything on I've been playing. But you know, on a light week like this, where most of my other games have been games I've already discussed, you know, I was like, let's bring it up. The sad thing is that it's actually been a few weeks since I've touched this game. And this is not a game, and I play on my Steam Deck, believe it or not, even though it's a fast-paced first-person shooter. So when I sit down to record footage, I'm on a screen I don't play with on a controller, which doesn't translate well. I've run into this issue a lot when I play Steam Deck games because the muscle memory of playing a game on my Steam Deck doesn't translate to the setup I have when I sit down to record footage. And it's very kind of annoying. I need to figure out how to record footage from my Steam Deck directly so I stop running into this issue, because that combined with the fact that I haven't played a few weeks means I wasn't very good at it. And this is a game that's like a twitchy, it's like a neon white kind of situation shooter, whereas it's like a speed run level game where you want to do it really well over and over and over again to get better scores, do the challenges. And if you're rusty at it, you're just going to eat shit and it's not going to look good. And it's just going to be kind of awkward and clunky. And I definitely run into some of that issue with the footage. That said, if you like neon white and you like shooting,
And you like neon white.
This is that kind of vibe. But I will say, so this is Strange Scaffold, makers of one of my favorite games from last year, El Paso Elsewhere. One of the reasons El Paso Elsewhere was a game that was kind of like it was like a throwback to classic Max Payne, in terms of like gameplay. But you know, it was it was a little repetitive. The truth is, like, it was the kind of the vibe, the atmosphere, the writing, the performances of that game that was like the real winner, which surprised me at the time because I'm like, man, I did not expect this from this game. And I ended up really loving El Paso Elsewhere. A lot of that has to do with the writing and the performances. And sure enough, I mean, the same writer, same performer is the dude who runs Strange Scaffold. What's he's got a weird name. It's like Zavlier. It's a strange name. So X Nelson. And he writes and he does like the lead performance of both El Paso Elsewhere and this game. And he's just like really fucking good at this shit. He's really good at doing this. And while this is this is a like the moment to moment gameplay is very different because it's very fast paced and it's very neon white and it's very score chase, time trial chase, right? In between like these levels are story sequences. Now, they're not like El Paso Elsewhere where they're actually like cool, well shot, well framed, like cinematic things, you know, with characters conversating or
Right.
whatever. But it is literally just like that sort of big text. I think after this, we'll get to like what that looks like. But it's basically almost like just audio conversations between the main character who is being hunted, kind of like he's like a Jason Bourne, right? Where he was an
You have
agent
my
that went
attention.
rogue and they're trying to basically track him down and kill him, right? And he's
Right.
nah, I'm going to kill all of you. I mean, that's sort of like the story of the game, right? And you have these story sequences in between these levels where it's just like the different people like calling him on the radio or whatever, bad guys and what various bad guys that he's probably just gonna kill because you kill lots and lots of people in this game. But even then, even though it's just like text on a screen, you know, big text and colors, you'll see. It's still, again, it's got like really good writing and performances. It's like funny and cool, and then like it really puts you in like a cool mood, and then you get into these levels and like the music is so good. I mean, another that's the other good thing. That's the other thing about these games. Strange Scaffold games. I don't know. I've only played this in El Paso Elsewhere. Really good fucking soundtracks, and it's the perfect kind of music for really wanting to rip through this style of level. Yeah. They set the tone, and they do a really good job. And you just want to go, get faster, better, and it's a vibe. It's really cool, and it's not like the deepest game in the world. I mean, there are they change up like like objectives and stuff, like, but you're kind of like going through these levels really quick, trying to get better times. Some of them are like wave based, some of them are like do these 5 things, some of them are just like get to this. So here's an example of what these scenes look like. It is just text on a background and like with really good like writing and performances and stuff. But like if you like that stuff in El Paso Elsewhere, like I said, it's not as like cool and cinematic, but it's still really like strong, compelling. Even though like the stakes are high, obviously, but it's not as like it doesn't feel as like I don't know, like there was like an emotional like weight to El Paso Elsewhere. Here it just seems like they're kind of having fun with it, but it's good. I am definitely on board with anything that this studio does where it's this sort of situation where like Xavier, what's his fucking name? Someone look up his name.
Somebody in chat, find his
studio
name.
head of Strange Scaffold. He's just like a really good, like this is the kind of dude where like we'll talk about the Game Awards in your 4-player minute or whatever, but like they're just gonna nominate like the best the most popular actor who managed to be in a fucking video game, right? Or like like the actor from like a prestige game. But like this is the kind of shit where like this dude needs to be getting, God forbid there's no good actual like Game Awards out there, but this is the dude who should be getting recognized for these performances because like he's killing it.
Xalavier Nelson Jr. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I hate that I don't know how to pronounce his name because I am a fan of his work, even though this one's mostly just sort of like a fun romp. You do throw bear traps at people's heads in it.
I've noticed that a few times, and it looks quite satisfying.
But yeah, it's just it's fun. It's fun. I mean, and there's a demo, I think. So if you just kind of, and I still highly recommend El Paso Elsewhere, but I think this one's a little bit more accessible because I think the style of gameplay is very like
feels more modern, maybe, or
well, I mean, yeah, it feels more modern.
There's more modern touch points for this.
Yeah, you're just going fast and shooting dudes, and it's very like super hot a little bit, where like every time you like throw a weapon at a dude, their weapon's gonna fly out of their hands in your direction. So you're grabbing it out of the air and immediately killing dudes with the weapons you just grabbed out of the air, So you're like, yeah, it's very, you just feel cool when you're doing it well, and you feel like a dunce when you're not. But that's why you go again and you go again until it's not even about, I'm not even necessarily going for a better score. I'm going until I have a run that just feels really fucking good. You know what I mean?
I do.
So it's just a shame that I record footage under such like,
Well, to your credit, I'm watching this footage, and even if you are not if it's not up to your standards as far as performance goes, I still get what you're saying. It looks like it makes you feel cool.
You do feel cool. Anyways, that's I Am Your Beast. I'm glad I finally got to mention it because I actually played most of what I played weeks ago. It is a game that I'm enjoying a lot, and I do tend to finish. And it's really cool. I recommend it. And if you like it, maybe check out El Paso Elsewhere because it's even more of a story game, I feel like. Obviously. Yeah. I Am Your Beast. And I do have a UFO minute.
Let's do it.
Roll that beautiful footage. 2 more games from UFO 50 to talk about.
Which continues to be awesome.
What am I going to fucking talk about? The first one is Valbrace. I don't think I've talked about Valbrace.
Are you keeping track of which games you're talking about? Because
that's
the
what
more
I'm
you
about
talk
to say.
about them,
it's like I hope I don't forget which ones I talked about. Let me tell you.
All it would take is writing them down.
Did I?
You know that, right?
You're right. But then I have to find out which ones I already talked about. Let me tell you though, I have not played Valbrace in weeks, And this is not a good game to forget how to play, and I'll explain why. You might see it in the footage. This is a first-person dungeon crawler, kind of like a
Legend of
like a
Grimrock?
classic. Well, yeah, but more of like a turn-based dungeon crawler. Like Legend of Grimrock was actually real time, which is not typically what you saw from like um the RPGs of the era. But like there's like a million, like Might and Magic or whatever. Like there's a million of these like first-person dungeon crawlers. Anyways, the cool thing is and it's very like old school in its design. Like the tile sets are not like, sometimes the only way you know that you're moving through the dungeon is like the gaps in the doors, because like it's not like the tile sets are unique or anything. It's very old school, and like everything in UFO 50, they don't want this to look like a game that came from the era that it did not fictionally. Anyways, but the cool thing is when you get into battle, it's actually like a real time combat system that's like very actiony, like you have like it's all about like timing hits and moving out of the way and blocking at the perfect time to get like a parry. So, and there's like, depending on like the type of enemy you're fighting, you kind of have to approach them. I get my ass kicked super quick here, because again, I have not played this game in weeks. And that's not just because I haven't been playing UFO 50. It's just due to the nature of UFO 50. You're like at a buffet that never ends, and you just want to keep trying everything. You're just, oh, let's go back to this one and play this one for a while. No, let's go back to this one and play this one for a while. And maybe you'll dump hours into it. But since there's 50 games in UFO 50, it could be a long time before you circle back to a game that you may have spent a lot of time with before. So I get into this game and I'm like barely remembering the mechanics. And, like a lot of games in UFO 50, it's not like easy or anything. But especially like the spell system. So you see what I'm doing with like these shapes that I'm making, they have like a pretty unique spell system where you like drag a line and it kind of like copies it on the other side, and you'll find like spells on the wall. And in fact, you're about to see one. You find spells on the wall that are like patterns, and drawing those patterns within a certain amount of time that you have a timer to draw that pattern will cast the spell. Now you have to kind of remember them or write them down, right? I can't just pull them up in a menu. I don't think. What I've been doing is saving screenshots on my Steam Deck. I didn't record this on my Steam Deck, to kind of remember the different spells that I've learned.
There's no reference material, so if you forget how a spell
No.
looks,
You can't even pull up the map unless you do the map spell, and I could not remember the map spell, and I was not on my Steam Deck. I couldn't just look at my screenshots. I guess I could have pulled them up. They'll save to the cloud, right? Huh. Anyways, yeah, it's a cool spell system because you'll come across like crazy shapes on these walls, and it's like, oh, I can just do that spell. Like in theory, you could have done that spell from the beginning of the game, with the exception of when you're casting a spell, there's a timer. You only have a certain amount of time to actually draw the shape to cast the spell. I'm about to
and
remember one here.
does it differ from spell to spell?
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. So I'm
So
trying to remember so I have a spell that opens secret walls, and I just remembered it, and I noticed this wall looked a little funny, but I'm out of MP. I'm gonna fight a battle. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do it. You'll see it'll open up a little secret door. Anyways, I couldn't remember the spell for the map. In this secret, I see a new spell on the wall, but here's the crazy thing: the shape is really large. The cool thing is when you level up and like increase your stats. Here's the spell. When you level up and increase your stats, increasing your wisdom is sort of like your magic stat, and all it does is lengthen the timer to enter the spell. So as the spells get longer, if you don't have enough time on your timer, you can't do it fast enough to actually cast the spell. It's actually a clever way to limit someone who hasn't been investing in their magic stat. But if you're really fast, you could actually pull off the spell without having like a really high magic stat. So that's kind of
that's
cool.
kind of
Anyways,
crazy and intense for like
yeah. Anyways, it's just a
Jesus.
first person dungeon crawler. There's like, a lot of floors. It's been really fun. I'm going to keep chipping away at that. If you look at the selection screen, you'll notice like the gold carts are the games that I've beaten. Red carts are like platinuming them a game. You usually got to do like something special to get the cherry. Anyways, the next game I'm showing off here, because I always do two games. This one is Veilguard, another game I'm kind of knee deep in. that I haven't played in a little while.
Ooh,
This
this
one
was fun.
is the most like traditional like Metroidvania in the bunch, and it is a full Metroidvania, of course. This one though, the gimmick is that it has like VVV mechanics. I don't know if you remember VVV. It's a which was a game where you would like flip the
Gravity.
gravity. Yeah, between so you were on the ceiling or on the ground, and they do a lot of like exploration around that. This is like a more traditional Metroidvania with that mechanic. And when I found that out, I was always like a little okay. I mean, that's neat. It's a traditional Metroidvania with that mechanic, and I'm like, okay, but I mean, maybe that'll get old, or maybe they're not going to do too much with it. But I'm always surprised, and this kind of goes with a lot of games I've played in UFO 50. Like it's always so much more like nuanced and developed than I think it's going to be, and more puzzle like. And like what I'm saying is like the level design is much more considered than I thought it would be. I felt the same way about like Warp Tank, which is one I talked about on a previous episode, where you're like a tank that just moves from the ceiling to
Yeah.
the floor. And the more I played that game, just like this game, I'm like, whoa, the level design is actually really tricky and puzzle like, and they keep coming up with new ideas, and that is not what I expected from a game that is trying to be like a throwback game from the 80s. And that's the kind of stuff that you didn't really see in games from the 80s. You did maybe some of the best ones, but even then, like just really nice variety and like puzzle design and level design. Like games were sloppier back then, and you kind of remember like like memorable bosses and memorable soundtracks and memorable power-ups, but it's not like rock solid level design was only in maybe some of the best games. Like I say classic Castlevania is a game that's like pretty revered, and even though it's like a pretty linear straightforward action game, it's really difficult, but like the level design seems very considered, when a lot of NES games were like very sloppy, I feel like. And some of that stuff like Mega Man was another one with very like considered level design. um but this feels like it feels like sophisticated. Like if this came out in the NES era, this would have been like a favorite, right? Because like the Metroid game, that the original Metroid didn't really have like complex sophisticated level design with like a ton of variety. Like it was rare to see that in the 80s, especially in a game with like open exploration like Metroid. um it's cool. This game also has like a power up system where you're getting power ups, but you can actually choose where the like how you want to. You're about to see actually how you equip them on your character, and depending on whether you're equipping them on like your jetpack or whatever, or your armor or your weapon, it does different things. And
Hmm.
you can even like combine them, and as long as you don't have too much on one, because you'll overheat or whatever and take damage, you can combine them to do even like cooler things, like as you might see here, just to kind of change like the types of fire you do, or like the effect that you have when you flip gravity. Like this one creates like a clone when I flip gravity, so when I shoot, it copies like my shot or whatever. And that's when I have like a certain type of power up in the drone or the hot shots, or the flip slot or whatever. So just cool stuff like that. Like again, surprisingly deeper than I expected, and better design than I expected. And it's just really fucking fun. I hate to break it to you, UFO 50 is incredible. It's 50
We
awesome
really, I
games.
had no idea.
It's 50
This
awesome games. And that's the thing that I keep getting surprised by. I'm like, no, this is not as there are arcadey style games in here, but
this
even
is
those
100%
feel,
Brad's game of the year.
yeah,
No,
I mean,
what's going
right
to
now it
happen
is
is
for
Brad
sure.
is going to make 2 Game of the Year videos. One of them is his top 10, and the other is his top 10 UFO games.
If I had more time, I would absolutely love to do that. You know, because I played a lot of games this year, believe it or not, and there are some that are not going to make my top 10 that I'm already sad about.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm kind of in the same
but
boat.
yeah, I think this is my front runner. There are some games that came out this year that I truly adore, so I'm definitely going to think about it, like Animal Well and Yakuza. I mean, it's just been a really good fucking year for games, honestly. I know there's all this hubbub about 2023 and 2024 not being as
You're
good
the
or
one who's
whatever.
obsessing over that, not me.
Well, I just don't like when people like write off a year halfway through, like making grand statements. Like they sound like idiots, honestly. And a lot of people did it. And I'm like, okay, dude, we still got games coming. Like there's still big games coming. And they
Yep.
Stalker, Indiana Jones, there's big games that are not out yet, even though we're like almost at the end of November.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I'm
So
sure
yeah,
there's gonna be some
that's
sleepers
my
too.
UFO minute. Maybe next
Cool.
week we'll do 2 more. There's so many.
Sounds good. So, I guess you want me to talk about the Game Award nominees in my
I
4-player
don't want
minute.
you to. You want to talk about it. Oh yeah.
Well, no,
I don't want to talk
I'm
about
just,
it because I fucking hate the Game Awards and
I kind of do too. I'm like, but it's just been like
I guess
that's
there's a
kind of
controversial thing that's semi-newsworthy.
yeah. I mean, it's. I'm not saying that I think the Game Awards have, a lot of relevance or whatnot. I think it's it's a big marketing ploy, obviously, and that's what everyone shows up for is the trailers, and the awards are kind of an afterthought, and that's always been the case, and that's both sad and
their
disappointing
selections
or
and
whatever.
stuff are actually really lame. It definitely seems like a popularity contest.
The selections are
this
where the
fucking shit on
controversy comes
Twitter
into
where
play.
he's like, we'll talk about his Balatro comment because even I'm pretty cynical about that. It's fucking clown shit.
I actually didn't see what he said about Balatro.
He's like, look, man, see, Balatro, like, congratulations to, fucking Local Thunk because, Balatro, one dude made that game and it's nominated for Game of the Year. See, didn't I tell you, man, the future of our industry are these little small games. Fucking Balatro's dope. The biggest fucking indie game of the year that made that dude an instant, like millionaire overnight. Like, yeah, I get it. It was popular and it was made by one dude, but it also had so much hype going into it even before release. That's why the people who, really have their ear to the ground with Fantasy Critic knew to pick it up. Anyways, all I'm saying is like, shut the fuck up, Jeff Keighley, because this entire year has been like really awesome indie games that are struggling to get any sort of audience. Fucking indie devs, longtime indie devs, like truly struggling, shutting down. Fucking they're not Image Inform anymore, but the Steam World guys just laid off like a shit ton of fucking people because I guess Heist 2 went ignored, like so many other fucking things. And it's just shut the fuck up, Jeff Keighley, okay? Oh, Balatro got on there.
Every event that he hosts, he always manages to put his foot in his mouth about
it's
something.
Just so corporate and like he's just doing it for these relationships and guess what? Of course, go ahead, Nick. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, look,
y'all know how I feel.
The only reason I wanted to bring it up is because even this week, like in our own Discord, it's been a huge topic of conversation. I've seen it popping up on all kinds of other outlets and podcasts and whatnot, and so I figured it'd be worth mentioning because the Game of the Year nominees in particular are a little strange because there's a lot of really noticeable like snubs and maybe a few weird choices.
Snubs, I don't know. But
the
big snub was Erdtree, okay? That's the news.
Yeah, putting Erdtree on the Game of the Year list is where the most debate is obviously happening because technically speaking, that's an expansion for a game that came out 2 years ago, I guess. I don't know. So, and then so there's
and you could see it's so transparent as to why. It's so fucking transparent as to why. It's because he cares about that relationship with FromSoft. He's broken a lot of FromSoft news at his fucking shows with Sekiro and Elden Ring, and he wants to establish that relationship. And for all we know, to me, this reads as Miyazaki's going to be there, and they might even have an announcement, and he wants to make sure Erdtree gets a nomination. But I mean, it's fucking Erdtree's sick as hell, right? But like that took the spot of like a game that really maybe deserved to be there, like a new original game that shouldn't have to compete against Elden Ring again. It's
and of which there were a lot of different choices they could have made. Astrobot's nominated, Balatro is nominated, like you said. Black Myth Wukong
it was let me tell you, it was either going to be Balatro or Animal Well. That was there was going to be some like over hyped,
but let's throw the indie scene a bone. That's kind of what it feels like. It was like, we're going to throw the indie scene a bone. They're not going to win, of course but we're going to throw them a bone. But yeah, of course, Balatro is deserving. Black Myth Wukong was nominated, which I found to be a little strange because like the reception on that.
See, that's another thing where you're not reading the room, man. Wukong was always going to get nominated.
Look. I know it was incredible. Like it's incredibly successful. Like it's one of the most played games on Steam this year.
Yeah.
And it has a massive audience. It's incredibly successful from a financial standpoint too. But critically, it was not
scored well.
received
It's in the
particularly.
80s.
I mean, but like that, as someone who's now played through that entire game, I feel like it reviewed incredibly soft for what it is. I mean, I say
like
that
an
about
82 though. Like a lot of games are an 82. Like Dragon Age is an 82. If Dragon Age showed up in Game of the Year, would you have been like surprised? I mean, 82s get nominated.
No, I'm not saying 82s don't get nominated. I mean, look.
Well, here's the truth about Wukong. It's
incredible.
It's enormous, incredibly popular.
I know.
Like it's enormous in China, which notice how many Chinese games Keighley has in his lineup. They pay big money to get those time slots, and he cares about those relationships. I'm telling you, man, he's all about the dough.
There's a certain amount of debate that's not even worth having, because whether or not they deserve to be nominated or not is kind of against, like, it doesn't matter, because so much of this has to do with money. I know people like the game. It's successful. But like in our circles,
a big budget, pretty game.
Listen. But in our circles, like in the more like quote unquote like hardcore gaming communities, people, especially in the West, I just don't see a lot of people talking about it. And when they do talk about it, they're usually like, it's mid. Like that's kind of like the conversation that I've been exposed to. I'm not saying I'm just saying. And
people
maybe this is
through it. From what I understand, are kind of like you. It's a liked game.
I'm not saying it doesn't deserve to be nominated. I'm just saying I'm surprised that it was, because.
Well, it wasn't going to be that Zelda game that runs like shit. Like what are,
Look, again,
what else would it have been? Oh, you're thinking Silent Hill should have been on.
I think Silent Hill 2 is a huge snub, especially considering everybody's expectations going into that were pretty fucking low.
Recent. You know how they are with this shit.
Metaphor Refantasio is nominated. That came out the same day.
Oh, Metaphor?
I'm pretty sure Metaphor
is nominated?
Yes, Metaphor Refantasio is nominated.
That game is much more critically well received.
And
Silent Hill like 93 on Metacritic. That's like JRPG royalty right now.
Okay,
like
well,
Metaphor.
Your argument a second ago was.
I'm saying if Metaphor won, I would not even be surprised if Metaphor won Game of the Year.
I wouldn't be surprised either. I mean, I like Metaphor Refantasio a lot. I'm just saying, Silent Hill 2 feels like a big snub because expectations were super low. It doesn't have anything to do with the release date because it came out around the same time, if not on the same day. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, no, I know. Maybe it wasn't the release date.
And Erdtree is taking a spot that could have been given to either another indie game or Silent Hill 2. I think Silent Hill 2 is
I don't think it should have been Silent Hill 2. There's other bigger snubs. I think Yakuza, this was its year to get nominated. And the highest scoring Yakuza game ever. It was so many people played it. It not being nominated for Game of the Year seems like a fucking crime.
I know Silent Hill 2 is wishful thinking, especially because it's a horror game too. Because no matter how good a horror game is, it almost never gets the mainstream success or appreciation.
It would have been close. That is a loved game. It will win.
I know. The only reason I think Silent Hill 2 is a snub is because people had like rock bottom expectations for this. People were expecting this game to be utter trash and a huge failure, and it came out the game and is one of the most
trash might be a bit much.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, people have a strong
it's a surprise for sure. It's one of the biggest surprises of the year. I'm not super surprised that it didn't make it onto this list though, but to your point, I would not have been surprised if it was on there for sure.
I think an argument could be made that Erdtree, that spot given to Erdtree, could have been used on any number of games, Silent Hill 2 or many others.
Would have been great to see. That would have been a hey man, a lot of y'all didn't play this. This shit is, y'all wronged this game. That's the kind of shit that should have been nominated. That's the kind of thing where if Jeff Keighley comes out on Twitter and says like, look man, this is meaningful. Not fucking Balatro, dude. Everyone was talking about Balatro. Shut the fuck up, dude. Hate that man.
Also, Rebirth was the last one. There's 6 games. Last of the 6 games that was nominated.
Rebirth, yeah. I think, and the truth is, I think Wukong could win because of what it is. I think Rebirth could win because people really love Rebirth. It is loved by fans. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Critics are a little like, you'll hear like a lot of podcast conversation about, oh, mini games wasting my time. In certain circles, that game is adored. People are calling it their favorite role playing game they've ever played. You know what I mean? It's crazy. And what else is on there? Metaphor, it would be a stretch, I think, if that won, but I would not be surprised. That is another game that like people are holding up to like the best. It is like the next Persona,
I mean,
and that
also,
is they are JRPG royalty right now.
I wouldn't be
Um,
surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all though if Astrobot wins.
Astrobot also could win, yeah, but I it's and deserving. So I mean, it's not like there are games not deserving on there outside of Erdtree. It's just Erdtree that's making it look fucking stinky.
And to people, there's people in chat. Mr. Papa Shot's talking about how a lot of these nominations come from like critics and stuff, especially critics that a lot of us have been following.
The
throughout
ones that
years.
everyone's play, like the games that the most critics play. So even though Balatro is an indie game, every critic on the planet played Balatro because it was enormous.
Which
you know,
makes it
and
even,
that's-
which makes the whole, for me, makes the whole Black Myth Wukong thing even stranger because the critics are the ones who reviewed it not poorly, but
Well-
like it was soft, man. It was soft. I'm talking about like
even for
it's-
fantasy critic terms, you do not call low 80s soft. That's
Dude,
a good score.
dude, it's a good score, but when you look at other games that are similar, I'm talking about like Sekiro and shit, like anything like there was enough in common with those games, and we hold those apparently to like we rate those games
Sekiro
much
was better
higher.
than Wukong, right?
Dude, I mean, it's and to a degree, it's apples and oranges a little bit, but like,
There's like, I mean, the level. I mean, let's just, I don't know. I mean,
dude, I'm just saying there
I've
is
not
a
played
lot of
Wukong, so-
there's a lot of depth. There's a lot of cool shit that in that game. There's a lot of complexity to the combat. I'm just saying there are other games that do similar things.
Sure, but
almost
you
as good or
combine
better,
you combine
and we
the
rate
fact
them
that
like
it
much
broke
lower.
like every sales record on the planet. You combine those two, and it's a good scoring. It's 82 on OpenCritic, 9.
I'm not here to argue that 82 is a bad score. I'm here to argue that it maybe deserved a significant chunk more than that.
Well, yeah, but what is that?
But
Maybe
it
the
didn't.
people agree, and that's why it got nominated.
But it didn't. And then the same critics who, I mean, whatever. This is, I'm just saying, to me, it reviewed coolly, like, it reviewed a little bit low for what it is. And then those people that reviewed it are now nominating it for Game of the Year. It's just a little strange. That's all I'm saying. It's a little strange.
Well, it's not strange. It's
Dude, that's okay. Again, which is why I was like,
because it's not just the critics, right?
there's a certain amount of debate that doesn't need to
really-
happen because at the end of the day, a lot of it comes down to fucking money. So we've
I'm
probably
saying
already
Keely does have his thumb in that pie, right?
I know we've already spent too much time debating this. I just wanted to bring it up because it's been a major point of conversation throughout the industry, and I think a lot of people are focusing on the Erdtree thing, especially as kind of a wasted spot. Not that it's not worthy, or not that it technically shouldn't qualify. At least that's my opinion. But it just feels like a waste.
That Wukong is on here, right? You're happy.
No, it's great news. I am happy. I'm happy.
It's just,
but I wish people showed up when the
controversy.
I wish those same people would have showed up when the game was actually out and being reviewed. You know what I mean?
That's scored well. Wait.
Stop
Do
it.
you think that game does not have like the flaws that justify a low 80s, which is really great?
I think
What do you know? What did reviews say that led that game to? I mean, did you ever look at reviews for the game?
Yes.
What did they say that? Well, no, I'm genuinely curious because I don't know. What did the reviews say that warranted that score?
I mean, if you ask me, when I read the reviews that I read, I don't think the score necessarily matched what was being detracted. Like the arguments or the criticisms that were being lodged against it didn't necessarily match, and not in all cases, but in some. And the only reason I'm focusing on it so heavily is because, dude, I feel like Black Myth Wukong is legitimately one of the best character action RPGs of like this generation.
Yeah,
and there are other games that have come out that are that share a lot of DNA, I suppose, with Black Myth Wukong. Some that I would even say are maybe a little bit shallower than Black Myth Wukong, and they score like way higher.
I mean, like,
It's like because it has
that's a good score. A lot of them do score around there. Like Stellar Blade scored a little bit lower, right? But still, like, that's a good game, right?
Yeah, it's a fantastic.
I'm saying
game.
these are like good scores. Rise of the Ronin got like a 77 or whatever. I mean, it didn't score like Wukong did, and I would say that's combat wise is probably deeper.
Look, I don't know why you're giving me so much pushback here. I'm just telling you how I feel about Black Myth Wukong, and that I feel like it was underrated.
But like I guess the context in which it's being brought up is a little like weird. You're obviously gonna like have this same conversation at the end of the year when you're talking about how much you love it. It's just weird to have this conversation now when it just got nominated for Game of the Year is all I'm saying. Like this is just yay, that game is awesome. I'm glad it got nominated is kind of the conversation. The conversation you're gonna have. I mean, we've already started having it, but we're gonna have it again. You know, when it comes to, I think maybe what's bothering you is the fact that nobody else in our small circle played it. Maybe that's bothering you a little bit, and I get that.
I mean, it's another one of those games.
To me, but I explained it. To me, it's like it's a game where you fight a lot of hard bosses, and that just ain't my shit.
I know. Look, for me, it's another one of those. It's another one of these games of which I know now there are many that I absolutely fucking adore, but I can't bring it up in conversation like in our own community without people going, "That game's pretty fucking mid." Or you know what I mean? And it's just like
who is saying this has got to be one community person. I want to know. Give me their name right now. You call them out as long as it's not Skodge. Because I'm just kidding. You tell me their name. It's got to be one like hard-headed person.
Dude,
that's
I don't have a name.
I want to know their name.
You, Brad. It's
Skodge.
You.
Is it Skodge?
It's you.
You don't remember. You don't remember who it is.
No,
it's like
I don't remember.
Dano or somebody with like an attitude.
I don't have a fucking list. I don't have like a
Zero
shit
Skies.
list.
Some smarmy ass community member. You tell me who it is. I want to know.
All the above.
Sometimes I feel like our tiny circle paints a narrative that just ain't reality, and that goes for all of us.
Nick, I really hope that we don't.
All it takes is one stinky community member, you know, like a fucking drunken merchant. You know what I'm talking about. He does it so often. You know, Nick, all of a sudden we now think Slitterhead is the greatest game ever, and it's being ignored because of one stinky little community member named TDM, right?
I really hope that you faded out the podcast like 5 minutes ago before this conversation even started.
This is the best conversation we've had on this podcast, Chris Davis. You don't know how to read a room.
This is what the people show up for.
I didn't even walk into the room. I've been outside on the street corner, just kind of like wondering why the fuck I'm here.
All right, you know why the fuck you're here to give us your final thoughts of the week. What's your 4-player minute?
There you go.
My final thought, other than just hating that the word mid exists at this point.
I do hate that word.
I mean, it's already kind of out of style, but.
It was
that word is mid.
Oh my fucking
God. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
This man dies at mid.
Mid. The word mid is cringe.
The word cringe is cringe. I hear. These are all dated terms.
These are I don't know anymore. I don't even know. I've lost track of whatever I was.
Skibbity. The kids say skibbity now.
And Riz, I don't know. I don't like the word
Riz. Of the week.
Riz is dated too. Rizzler, on the other hand.
You are not using your final thought on the word Riz. Please.
I don't want to. I don't want to. It's either me just rambling right now about words that the children use which are wrong, or it's me talking about my fucking house. Which one do you want?
Hey, I was in Lockhart. I was in Lockhart over the weekend, or not? No, in the middle of the week for work related. But I was wondering, like, what's the go-to barbecue place in Lockhart these days? Because there's a Black's, there's a Terry Black's, there's a Cruises. You know, we actually went to a place called Load Off Fanny's, which is like kind of a burger place in downtown, which was like surprisingly cool.
I haven't tried them out yet. The barbecue place I like is Chisholm Trail. You got to drive a little bit down.
Jism trail?
Chisholm.
You like a trail of jism on your panties?
Oh my
End the show right
God.
now.
Sorry.
Chris Davis, you know what? The options you gave us for your 4-player minute, neither one. I want to hear you talk about Indiana Jones.
There
Indiana
you go.
Jones. Like I
heard this shit might pop off.
I mean, I think people have been fucking doubting Machine Games being able to do anything but a fucking Wolfenstein game. But
no. We've been doubting Microsoft, to be fair. They've just been so bad at putting out a decent product that we're just skeptical. That's all it is.
I have had faith in Machine Games since day one when they announced this fucking project. Whatever Machine Games touches is gold to me. Okay, and
you gotta at least admit that one Wolfenstein game that they made, the co-op one, was not
the one that was
necessarily a
developed by mostly Arcane.
Yeah, that other studio you hate. So either way, you don't have an argument, Chris Davis. Arcane and Machine Games made that together. Sus.
Yeah, they made it together when they really shouldn't have done that game, but they were ordered by fucking Bethesda.
We're getting into the weeds, Chris
is
Davis.
The problem.
It's time to get hype. Indiana Jones is coming next month, and it's looking like it might be good.
Yeah, it was always going to be good, Nick.
Maybe you should
Everyone
stream
else
some
who said
classic
otherwise
Indiana
was
Jones.
A hateful, doubting person who should be ashamed of their words and deeds.
Not right, dude.
Sometimes
you just don't want to get excited until the game's out and you know it's good. And you know what? With Microsoft lately, that's kind of how it's been.
I mean, yeah, it's fucking fair. They've had kind of a shit year. They've kind of had a shit generation. But
look, you're getting into the weeds again, Chris Davis. Look at me. Look me in the eye.
Talking about the whip.
Did you watch the gameplay breakdown of Indiana Jones?
We did the trailer talk on it.
But we skipped through a lot of it and we talked over a lot of it. Did you sit there, light some candles and watch that video?
I am trying not to see anything because I don't want to get spoiled at all for this fucking game.
Well, I mean, he's already sold on it. I'm
already sold on it,
honestly.
That's the last game I'm probably going to buy this year.
I think that game's going to sneak onto my top 10. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
You've not even played it, okay? Easy,
I just have a feeling.
It's already bumping off some Japanese game and you haven't even played it yet.
Yep, probably so.
The fuck, dude?
You bitch.
Chris Davis, you should stream some classic Indiana Jones game, man. Build people's hype for this shit. There's a lot of cool Indiana Jones games. They got those Tomb Raider lights.
Fate of Atlantis that was the point-and-click adventure?
Point and click, the classic one. Yeah. You might need a guide.
I've heard that's the best one, right?
Well, I mean, it's a point-and-click adventure game. It is a loved point-and-click adventure game, but it is one that has actual fail states, where I didn't do something earlier in the game, now I can't progress. So you might want to use a little bit of a guide. But it is a loved Indiana Jones game for sure. But it's old. That's an old ass game.
It is
an oldie, but
there's some classic Tomb Raider games that are Indiana Jones, like the Infernal Machine. That would be wild if you tried to play some of that shit.
What was that other one that was PS2, Xbox generation? That was not Infernal Machine.
The one that's more like Tomb Raider Legend-y, maybe.
I think so. Yeah. I know
Wazoo's been wanting me to play Infernal Machine because I do love classic Tomb Raider. The one that's on Xbox and PS2 is a little bit more modern. What is that one called? Temple of... I can't remember.
I don't remember.
But I played that one back in the day. That one's cool.
Yeah. Big Wazoo just subscribed and says, "Play the Infernal Machine." Now you have to, Chris Davis.
That one's older. That one's more like classic.
That's what it was.
Yes.
I didn't realize
I'm saying, man, stream some indie,
Jones
get
games.
people hyped because indie's so narrow. I feel like the fandom for that. I feel like that game might not succeed so well because I don't think Indiana Jones didn't that last movie kind of bomb at the box office?
Dial
the
of Destiny
isn't there anymore.
Yeah, Dial of Destiny was just. It wasn't that good a film. I think
but it's not even about the quality. I'm saying I think the audience. You can have a bad Star Wars movie and it's still going to make $1 billion, right? I don't think the audience for Indiana Jones is that big anymore.
Oh,
it's not timeless.
Yeah, it's from another generation, another time.
I think it's just getting smaller and smaller with
each of these the modern day.
It happens, and that's
It happens, but I'm saying I hope people show up for this game because like the time of the year, the fact that this year has been like honestly tough on a lot of games, just in this industry. I want
I think it's
all the best
cool.
for Machine Games, but
Yeah,
I think it's cool a game like this is coming out in December. It feels
it
like
needs
a
to be
nice.
good.
It
If
does
this
need to be
game
good,
gets
but
like
I think it will be.
sevens, if this game gets like sevens and no one buys it, man, I
It's on
want
Game Pass.
Microsoft to get a win. I want Microsoft to get a win.
They need
Now
a
personally, I
fucking
think
win.
Avowed's probably going to be pretty awesome, but that's another one where I don't know if that's going to like sell like crazy. I'm at a point now where I hate Microsoft for the reasons I've ranted about many times, right? Scalebound and stuff, right? You know, I have a chip on my shoulder, sure. Ever since
A
the
well-do
360,
chip,
ever
though.
since the
Well done.
Xbox One days. But I want them to get a win, right? I want everybody to like be kicking ass, and man, they have been struggling, and they're shutting down beloved studios. Like, you know what? Maybe fuck you, Microsoft. Fuck you. You shut down Arcane and Tango, or one of the Arcane studios, is crazy. Like that's a thing where you just don't know what you have. You're fucking idiots.
No,
Like you got to keep some of that shit alive. It's the same reason that, and I'm not saying it ain't ever coming. It's the same reason that like Sony has not yet shut down Media Molecule. Because like if you're looking at the books, like Microsoft does apparently, it's like you shut down a Media Molecule, but no. Smarter publishers who have a console keep them alive because you need prestige games that aren't going to pay your bills, but they make your console look better, more varied, and I don't know,
Respectable. I don't know.
Whatever. What are
Yeah.
we talking
That's not the right
about
word.
Oh,
I don't know. It was Chris Davis's 4-player minute. We kind of.
I hope Indiana Jones is good. I really do.
me too. Yeah.
I'm glad it's not another Wolfenstein game, and I know we disagree on that, but I'm glad Machine Games is doing something different.
Not too different though. It's still a first.
I just hope
game, and you are
I hope we
fighting
don't
Nazis.
find out it's like a Star Wars Outlaw situation where it's like, oh, maybe this is a little bit like closer to like a Avatar than we thought in terms of like how quickly they threw this together or something. Honestly, I don't know much about Outlaws, but I know Outlaws was a bit of a disappointment because some people were hoping that it would be more like an Assassin's Creed in terms of like quality and less.
I think it's definitely close. I mean, here's the thing. Again, I said this earlier in the show, but there have been several major updates to Outlaws that like and people have been saying, you know, if this game had been reviewed now versus what it was when it first released, it'd be a completely different story.
I mean, the truth is that's a ton of games in our industry these days.
That is true, but like they have kind of like reinvented the way the game feels and plays, is what I hear. So I am very much looking forward to like diving back into that game before the end of the year. But I have a feeling it's going to feel like a totally different game. But I'll talk about that when the time comes. Sorry, Chris Davis. Do you have any final thoughts? I know we just kind of talked through your 4-player minute.
Okay, here is a final thought.
He's been talking about indie.
I've been
Shut up, Brandon.
asked to talk about indie. Shut up. I am super excited to finally play through the Earth City E3 demo for Halo 2, which got released a couple weeks ago.
You've done this, or you were looking forward to it?
I've been looking forward to it. I have installed, ready to go, but I wanted to blow through the rest of my what I've been playing right now, so I can I know it's going to be like a 15, 20-minute experience, but it's something I don't want anything else distracting me from. So
Okay.
I might actually stream that later this week.
The Halo 2 E3 demo.
Yeah, remember that legendary
Way back in the day.
single-player demo that we never got to play because they never put it in the game? Yeah, that is officially now ported into the MCC. So you can, in the Steam Workshop, download and play it.
I remember you discussed this.
I discussed this?
You discussed this last week.
I did?
You mentioned it.
Well, I slept 7 times.
But now you're like ready to play it. Like it's installed.
Yes.
You're gonna light some candles.
I finished Life is Strange tomorrow. I will play that and then launch into Stalker 2. So,
Sweet.
Does Indiana Jones bump off Pacific Drive?
Are you talking about me?
Yeah.
Dude, there's like a bunch of shit that could potentially knock off Pacific Drive, which is tragic to me.
I don't think there's... In this year of Japanese games and points, how many of them are even going to make it onto your top 10? Granted, you only played like 2 of them, but you got big points. Jeff Keighley has no fucking balls. You know,
Is that your thought for the week?
You want to
Can you
an
say that
actual
right
game
then,
that's
just
like
in the show.
And Chris Davis will agree. Chris Davis will agree with me. Chris Davis will agree with me. There's a big difference between a Metaphor ReFantazio and like a Unicorn Overlord. A game, Unicorn Overlord is a game that was received critically extremely well and like deservingly so. It's a banger of a game that I think is one of the best games of the year. It was never even going to be close to being nominated for Game of the Year, even though it did score, like 88, 89, whatever the fuck it's at, right?
It might as well not exist 2 weeks after launch.
Might as well not exist to somebody like Jeff Keighley because he is a fucking corporate shill. Fuck that dude. Sorry.
All right, what's your 4-player minute, Brad? Or is that your final thought?
Have I not spoken enough? I don't know. Shout out to the SteamWorld guys. They had to lay off like 80 to 100. I fucking knew it, dude. I was keeping my eye on the Steam DB of a lot of these indie games that came out this year, and I'm like, more people should be playing Heist 2, which, by the way, Heist 2 fucking banger, dude. That's a banger gas game, just like the first Heist. Not enough people played it. Now these motherfuckers are struggling, man. They canceled projects. They laid off a bunch of people. I don't know what they canceled, but I sure as hope it wasn't like a Dig 3 or something. I'm just, oh man, I want it to succeed. I want all this shit to succeed. I've been finally playing more Tactical Breach Wizards, some of the dreams and stuff that I didn't get to. The game's so good. The game's so fucking good. People are going to be talking about what is the best RPG party of the year? Is it Rebirths or is it Fantasios or is it the Dragon Age guys? Ain't nobody's going to be talking about the Tactical Breach Wizards. And let me tell you, they might be the best ensemble cast out there. Goated, absolutely goated. Now, Chris Davis also probably agrees with me. You played all the way through that, right?
Which one? I'm sorry.
Tactical Breach Wizards.
Fuck, I'm talking about Tactical Breach Wizards.
I'm sorry. It's
ensemble party of the year
last week or so. Yeah, no, it was
I know.
really fucking good.
Really good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyways.
All right. This is totally unrelated. I don't know something you just said reminded me of this, and I forgot to mention it on the show because I thought it was interesting. But on Halloween night, my wife and I went and saw Across the Spider-Verse, where they played with the live orchestra. Like they played the music, right? Which was really fucking cool. But we were at the event center where they were doing it or whatever, and there was a bunch of people there, and there was a random thing of cosplay. Well, I guess it was Halloween, so I guess not really cosplay. But they were dressed up like the couple from It Takes Two, and it was like really good. And I was like, oh shit, I saw It Takes Two out in the wild. Like I never
one game of the year at the Keeleys.
People were walking up and like, oh my god. People were like walking up being like, oh my god, I love that game. Can I get a picture? I was like, it's like, oh my god. Not only did this couple like dress up as It Takes Two, but like it's getting love like out in the wild, like which I thought was really cool. Anyways, that's not my final thought.
By the way, that game was extremely popular.
It was. I know, but it's cool to see. I don't feel like I don't feel like I've seen a lot of like cosplay of it and stuff. I mean, I don't really go to conventions anymore, so I haven't really been in that environment to see that. So, but this was totally unrelated, and it was just cool to see out in the wild.
Agree.
But my final thought:
that game sold 20 million copies.
Twofold. One, I'm a little nervous about Stalker 2 reviews just because it's so close to launch and you never know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's reviews drop in like 9 hours, less than 9 hours, and the game drops in even less than that. So I'm really excited to play it. Again, I think this is one of my most anticipated games of the year. I've had such high hopes of it, and the more I see, the more it just looks like an amazing game. And I think it has the potential is there for this to be like one of my favorite games of the year, and I'm really hoping it can deliver on that. But I guess we'll find out in the next 9 hours. And then
Indiana Jones have the potential to make his top 10 list.
They have potential. They have
tell me about some
seriously
Japanese
strong
games
potential.
that don't have the potential to make your top 10 list.
You want me to pull up my list and tell you which Japanese games I played this year that don't have the potential to make my list? I'm not
if you
going
were
to
to
do
play
that.
them.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you the ones that I've played that are.
Well, let me ask you this though: if you had played the new East game, like let's say you're committed to playing through that game, based on what you've seen, does it have the potential to make your top 10 list?
No.
You racist.
Metaphor Refantasio is what's going to
I
take
think
me
this
across
is
the
more
finish
about you
line.
being a graphics hoe than racist, really, which is fine. I mean, honestly, I was playing.
I really don't think that's necessarily true.
I mean, we
But
are
whatever.
all graphics hoes a little bit. I was playing some.
I love graphics. I do love graphics, but
I was playing some fucking indie game. God, what the fuck was it? Where even I was like, man, if this was prettier, man, so much more people would be talking about this shit. And they're right, probably. I
true.
don't know. I don't know what it was. What was it? I don't know what it was.
Anyways, I'll just leave my 4-player minute at that. Stalker 2 comes out tomorrow, and I'm very, very, very excited for it. So I really
By the way,
hope it delivers.
I just want to say, last final thought of the show or whatever overall. 108 days left till Suikoden 1 and 2 remastered releases. 108 days.
Which would put that when? March? Is that March?
Yeah, I think so.
February?
Something
I
like
don't know.
that, yeah.
Anyways, guys, that's our show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. If you're not already part of our Discord, we'd love to have you there. You can find us at discord.gg/4player. You can hang out with us, talk about games, movies, TV, whatever it may be, all week long. And then, of course, you can find all of our previous recorded episodes on 4playernetwork.com or across various podcast services. Either way, we'd appreciate your subscription. If you want to leave us a review, we'd love it as well. But yeah, guys, we'll be back next Tuesday night, which is when we record these shows live on Twitch and YouTube. So if you want to tune in for those, we start at 8 p.m. Central. Join us again next week. We'll be talking about Stalker 2, among other things. I'm sure we'll hear either the exciting or tragic ending to Chris Davis's run through of Life is Strange Double Exposure. We'll see how that goes. Either way, it should be a fun show. So join us next week. In the meantime, y'all be good to each other, play video games, and good night.
Bye.
Bye.